The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. Lost in the Arctic cold, a man, Commander Gore, felt strangely calm. He walked, numb, toward his ship, hearing distant cannon fire. A signal? Adela, Vice Secretary of Expatriation, interviewed me. The bridge. My job to assist expats, refugees from history brought to the 21st century via time travel. It was a secret, high-paying, ethically murky project. My Cambodian refugee mother, my failed field agent career, all led me here. At a briefing, Somalia, another bridge, argued refugee. Adela insisted expat. These weren't willing immigrants, but kidnapped victims from war zones and plagues, plucked from certain death for science. 2 already died. They might die of genetic mutations within the year, Adela said grimly. Our job, observe, assist, document. In a grand chamber, Gore arrived, pale, imposing, with striking features. He was my expat. Commander Graham Gore, Royal Navy, circa 1809 to 1847, a time travel refugee. In the car to our shared house, Gore, overwhelmed by London's scale, declared 9 million people too large to be real. The house, Victorian red brick, was unfamiliar yet somehow known. Inside, Gore, weary, requested a tour before tea. We are to cohabit? He asked, surprised. I explained the bridge role. Cohabitation, assistance, no romance. He looked relieved, but dubious about decency. I introduced him to the refrigerator, an ice box, and modern appliances, your maids. He was both fascinated and overwhelmed by 21st century technology. You have enslaved the power of lightning, he observed. I gave a speech on class mobility and domestic labor. He simply asked about post-WY employment. That first day, a dance of awkwardness. Gore touched everything, a nervous habit. He flushed the toilet obsessively. He burned his fingers on a lamp. He retreated, then tentatively joined me on the porch. He played a hesitant flute tune. He asked about tobacco. I offered cigarettes, a vice of my era, now out of fashion. We smoked, a strange intimacy forming. He saw a plane, a ship of the sky. 8 hours, he murmured, overwhelmed. Quite enough for today. That night, uneasy sleep. Morning, Gore in the bathroom, chain smoking, toilet exploded. I was trying to see how it worked, he said diffidently. I explained germs, bacteria, disease. He recoiled in alarm, horrified by invisible threats. On the heath, fresh air comforted him. Germ theory amazed him more than electricity. We walked, breakfasted on croissants from a food truck. I've been told there are other, expats, he said. I listed them. You didn't extract anyone else from the expedition? No. We wanted individuals from across a wide range of time periods. And you chose me, rather than, say, Captain Fitzjames, I admitted. We had documentary evidence that you'd left the expedition, that I died. Yes. How did I die? They didn't say. You were referred to as the late Commander Gore. I revealed the Franklin expedition's fate. Lost, no survivors. Lost? He repeated, incredulous. In the Arctic, no one returned. He was stunned, then demanded, Tell me, what happened once I left? I recounted the ships trapped in ice, the abandoned camp, the doomed march. Back's Fish River was 800 miles away, he murmured. Yes, they didn't make it. They starved to death on the march down. All of them? All of them. He was silent then. It appears I was spared a wretched death. I'm sorry, you're welcome? How long did it take? Everyone was dead by 1850. The greatest expedition of our age, he said, voice empty. Later, he apologized for his reaction. He asked why I was his bridge. I explained my language skills, top-secret clearance, work with displaced people, and knowledge of his expedition. You have the advantage of me, he conceded, dimples appearing faintly. And who found the Northwest Passage? Robert McClure, in 1850. Robbie? Yes, he found it, looking for a lost brother. I always assumed... Oh, he said as if wounded. Gore, the most realized person I'd ever met, was now adrift, purposeless. Hunting, socializing out. He was going bonkers with boredom. When will I meet the other expats? Soon. Am I to be idle for this entire year? Streaming music, Spotify became his new world. Any music, any performances, any time, whensoever you wish it? Bach, Frank, endless music. He was cautiously interested in Google, Wikipedia, but typing hobbled him. One day he left, returning agitated by London's crowds, lack of horizons. Where? I would like to go somewhere where I don't feel as if I'm in a microscope slide. Movement restrictions. I'm going to have a bath, he said finally. I told him about internally displaced person, my mother, lost homeland within. Gore, similarly displaced, stood forever on a ship. I told him about the Forestry Commission. You were quite important, he suggested. No need to flatter me. I was just a translator. One never understands one's use but through the opinion of others. Take the Aden expedition. I asked about Aden. He said, modesty is a virtue, and I must warn you that I am a very virtuous man. I challenged his imperialist view, but intervening in the trade commission of another country in order to increase the trade advantage of the kingdom is considered diplomatic. I saw admiration, stopped protesting. I hadn't revealed my mixed race, useful unguardedness. Your job sounds very interesting, he said. How did you get it? Gore hated television. You can send dioramas through the ether, he said, and you've used it to show people at their most wretched. He also disliked Sesame Street, deformed monstrosities. Books, Arthur Conan Doyle, Great Expectations, Jack London, Hemingway. One day, rogue mail. A day or so later, email, ministry wanting us to go in next week. Commander Gore? I have some good news. The ministry want us to go in next week. He didn't look up from rogue mail. Oh, you've not got very far with rogue mail then. Oh, he said. I finished it, and then I started it again. Gore, back on Erebus, considered his throbbing palm. Debility, Stanley had said. Scurvy. Memories of a gun exploding in his hand in Australia. He missed Stokes, Australia, warmth, newness. No use lamenting his thin frame or the day's poor hunting. Tomorrow, he'd hunt again. He was good at killing things. He pulled a trigger and knew himself loved. We took the tube to the Ministry for Expat Introductions. Gore, sunny mood, imagined a salon, not group therapy. I saw Quentin. Hi, Quentin. Ah, London's notorious toilet exploder. Quentin asked about violence, cognitive impairment. I mentioned expedition fate ignorance. That's a problem. He'd raise it with Vice Secretary. Keep a close eye on any changes in his behavior. Report any signs of physical or mental deterioration immediately. What'll happen if they start going insane? Back on the wards, Quentin said evasively. Budget, cleaner request. You can't make him clean. He thinks it's inappropriate for people of our class to scrub floors. He's made quite an impression on you, Quentin said dryly. Bridge meeting, Adela chairing, bridges wound up, expats acting out. Complex PTSD, Semelia said. Complex, Adela echoed. Thanks for your input. Given their histories, mental trauma is to be anticipated. Your concern is if the process of time travel has major implications for the expat or the expat's surroundings. Can we send them back? Ivan asked. No, Adela's answer firm. Why not? Ivan added. We can't risk the temporal repercussions, Adela stated. They are supposed to be dead. As long as they're here, it's functionally as if they are dead in their own time. You will earn your place in the history books, Semelia, as long as we can guarantee that history continues. What happens if they survive? I asked. Then you will have the lovely warm glow of having contributed to a humanitarian project. And if they die, then you will have contributed to a scientific project, atoms unsuccessfully split, and so on. If they survive, what will we do with the door? Semelia asked. The use of the door is not your concern, Adela said. It is no one's concern until we have established that it can be used at all. You will earn your place in the history books, Semelia, as long as we can guarantee that history continues. Walking with Semelia, Adela's face changed again. Bets on Home Office absorption? I asked. England's closed, hostile era policy. Fuck off back to the Dark Ages if you don't like it. Semelia smiled. There's your boy, seeing Gore in lobby. Snaky-hipped lady killer, Semelia said dryly. Lunch. Gore adapted to restaurants. What are the other expats like? He described them. I thought it might be a good thing to make a proper friend of Reginald Smith. He said he would arrange for his bridge to take us to a public house. Maybe you'll go somewhere with Sky Sports. I refuse to find out what that is. And you'll meet Semelia. Is that the name of his bridge? Yes, she's an interesting woman. You'll like her. So, Captain Reginald Smith, you're currying favor with your superiors? He smiled, dimples. A Royal Navy commander has the equivalent Army rank of Lieutenant Colonel. I outrank everyone. I don't think Lieutenant Cardingham much likes that either. Back home, Gore shyly asked if I'd come for a drink. Pre-drink with Semelia at Spy Pub, Spy bartender, defense tracking team, Semelia chic red wine, I Guinness, suspicious looking. Semelia taught me electric slide in pub, spy watching. Biracial woman and black woman at ministry. Make a new world. Captain Reginald Smith's pub visit enough. I stayed home with friends, wine, imagined Gore's pub trip, returned home, Gore, drunk, whiskey. Will you join me? Actually, yes, please. Whiskey, cigarettes, confession. Semelia, black, mind doctor. Only Black Bridge, mind doctor squadron. Preventative squadron, slave trade. Rosa story, captives. Would she have behaved so pleasantly towards me had she known that I'd looked at them and seen a tally? She's familiar with the era. He called me half-caste, color of my mouth. Gore hated television. You can send dioramas through the ether, he said, and you've used it to show people at their most wretched. He hated Sesame Street, deformed prosties, books. Arthur Conan Doyle, Aubrey Maturin series, nostalgic, Great Expectations, Bleak House Too Long, Bronte's No Patience, Henry James No Patience, Jack London liked, Hemingway, shocking, Bath read. One day, Rogue Mail, finished, restarted. Email, ministry wants us to go in next week. Commander Gore? I have some good news. The ministry want us to go in next week. He didn't look up from Rogue Mail. Oh, you've not got very far with Rogue Mail then. Oh, he said, I finished it, and then I started it again. Gore hauled himself aboard Erebus, ice-locked, emergency command meeting. Rations rotting, 2/3 rations compromise. Gore bleeding palm, and if the ice doesn't break up. Ship groaned. Tube to ministry, MRI scans. Gore in scanner, this is like being inside a gun's barrel. Brigadier's uniform, effect. Gore snapped to attention. At ease, Commander, Brigadier said. I am just on my way out. Secretary for expatriation, defense deputation. Big brother watching over little brother, you know. Gore, may I confirm that I am a miracle of medicine? Radiographer, no significant abnormalities. Next expat, Reginald Smith, MRI anxious. Gore reassured, joking, reading your thoughts, old chap. That was a very nasty one. I've never seen such obscenities. Oh, shut up, radiographer. We really can't see anything you're thinking. You tell that to 47, said the captain. Back home, joint, cannabis, weed. What would you call the color on that fowl? Lilac? Giggles. Chocolate digestives. I think we should get a dog. No. We should have had this stuff in the Navy. Chocolate biscuits or weed? Both. Weed? That sounds very whimsical, something that fairies put in their pipes. If the Royal Navy had a weed ration in the age of sail, your Arctic journey would have ended up in Rio de Janeiro. Good. Well, I'm glad you found something about the 21st century that you approve of, Commander. He smiled, dimples curving. I think, as we are housemates, and also, I hope, friends, that you should call me Graham. Who is Auntie? Next morning, church visit. Auntie BBC nickname. Why Auntie? Benevolent, educational programming. In the 1960s, and one could smoke indoors? Yes. Why was I not taken there? Did the fashionables still wear hats? Googled miniskirt pic. Well, that looks very unhealthy, he said. Later, what is the handheld machine called, the one that projects a white filmy grid with information on it? Sketch of projection device. I don't know what this is. You're certain that's what you saw? I stared at his sketch, really at his lashes. Gore cabin palm, old wound Australia, Captain Stokes' gun exploded, cockatoos, blue sky, killed the bird, he'd remarked. Missed Stokes, Australia, warmth, lamenting thin frame, poor hunting, tomorrow hunt again, good at killing, loved. Tube to ministry, earplugs, mattress advert joke, dating he wished he hadn't asked. Armed suits, expats, I saw Quentin, London's notorious toilet exploder, toilet incident, cognitive impairment, expedition fate, ignorance. That's a problem. Raises with vice secretary, MRI scan idea, deterioration report, mental, physical. Insanity, back on wards, enclosed environment cared for, budget, cleaner. You can't make him clean. He thinks it's inappropriate, class, scrub floors. See age 11. He's made quite an impression on you, Quentin dryly. We've been in each other's pockets for 2 weeks, hard for him not to. Budget, cigarettes. You should discourage that. What? An impact quality of life? Quentin laughed coolly. Touche, I'll look into it. Bridge meeting, Adela chairing, bridges wound up, expats acting out. Complex PTSD, Semelia. Complex, Adela. Feasibility, human body time travel. Expat or expats surroundings. Can we send them back? Ivan asked. No, why not, ma'am? Ivan added. Temporal repercussions, supposed to be dead, functionally dead. History books guarantee history continues. What happens if they survive? I asked. Humanitarian project. If they die. Scientific project. Atoms split. If they survive, what will we do with the door? Semelia asked. Use of door? Not your concern. No one's concern. Guarantee history continues. Semelia and I walked to lobby. Semelia's expat, Captain Arthur Reginald Smith, eyeball combats. How's it all going? I asked. Semelia's eyebrow. Adela's face changed again? Yeah, fillers, cheekbones moving. Interesting woman. Bets on home office absorption? England's closed hostile era policy. Fuck off back to dark ages, Semelia smiled. There's your boy, Gore lobby. Snaky-hipped lady killer, Semelia dryly. Lunch, bistro, Gore, restaurant etiquette. What are other expats like? Described them Reginald Smith. I thought it might be good to make a proper friend. Public house. Sky Sports? Refused to find out. And you'll meet Semelia. Bridge name? Yes. Interesting woman. You'll like her. Currying favor? He smiled, dimples. Royal Navy Commander, Lieutenant Colonel. I outrank everyone. Cardingham dislikes that. Back home, Gore shyly asked, drink. Pre-drink drink Semelia, spy pub, spy bartender defense tracking team, Semelia, chic red wine, I Guinness, suspicious looking, core report, Semelia, spy, alcoholic, spy bartender defense tracking team, spy pub, see what happens, looks suspicious. Biracial woman and black woman at ministry, pornographic raincoat, is he all right, your expat? Negro, corrected him. Miscegenation? Haven't told him. Semelia nodded, psychologically important, inhabit identity, adjust to world, make a new world. Soft light eye, spy barman, electric boogie, Semelia, electric slide lesson. Auntie who? Ralph's protege called me miss. Get up. Pub, spy report. He'll put biracial woman and black woman, trust me. Captain Reginald Smith's pub visit enough. I sat with friends, wine, Gore pub trip, burned tongue, Gore sympathy. No ministry therapy, inherited trauma, awkward. Returned home, cigarettes, Gore returned. After dinner smoke, friends aren't smokers. I'll keep your secret. Drunk, whiskey. Join me? Yes, please. Whiskey, no decanter. Nice time? Yes, like Arthur. Bridge? Like her too, negress. Corrected him. Racist? Prejudices other races. Does not every race have this? No, we try to look beyond race, equal opportunities employer. Kooks and killers? Ministry nickname. Preventative squadron. Rosa story captives. Tally? She's familiar with era. Not wholly English woman. Color of your mouth. Gore hated television. Dioramas, wretched. Hated Sesame Street. Deformed monstrosities. Books. Arthur Conan Doyle. Aubrey Maturin series. Nostalgic. Great Expectations. Bleak House. Too long. Bronte's No Patience. Henry James. No Patience. Jack London. Liked. Hemingway. Shocking. Bathread. One Day. Rogue Mail. Finished. Restarted. Email. Ministry wants us to go in next week. Commander Gore? I have some good news. The ministry want us to go in next week. He didn't look up from Rogue Mail. Oh, you've not got very far with Rogue Mail then? Oh, he said, I finished it. And then I started it again. If you enjoyed this book breakdown, please consider liking this video and subscribing to get notified when we post our next book.